Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Apothecary Diaries Season 2. But before that, we were talking about false starts of the show, other random stuff, Perfect Blue, just honestly all kinds of random stuff. If you want to hear a larger part of that conversation, patreon.com/Featured Anime Podcast. And now on to the meat and potatoes. Apothecary Diaries came out in January 2025 through July 2025. Studio for it is Toho and OLM. Producers for it are Toho and Nippon Square Enix, just to name a couple of them. Genres are drama, mystery, romance, suspense, historical, just to name a couple of them. And the source is a light novel, and it's 24 episodes long. Now, Apothecary Diaries second season, honestly, it picks up right where season 1 left off. And the differences in between that is this goes a lot deeper into the politics of the imperial court, because Maomao's now finally having firmly established herself as a vital asset to the rear palace. She finds herself kind of entangled in a bunch of high stakes conspiracies that extend far beyond simple poisoning. And we got a taste of that at the end of season 1. The season shifts its focus though towards the inner court poisoning and Shi clan arcs, where simmering tensions between the central government and the provincial powers, they finally come to head and boil over. And so we see a larger fallout for that, as well as finally get a lot of answers to a lot of the questions that we had from season 1.
Yes. No, okay. I thought you were going to continue with the things you normally do, where you're like, this is where it's from. This is...
You mean the thing that I said at the very beginning before I read this? That whole thing?
That. Nope, we avoided that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, usually I blow past it, and you're like, "Well, it's time." So I was just waiting for a little extra.
I usually do it at the beginning, and I had forgotten that because I had changed the format of how I did my notes, and so I went back to my original format for my notes, so I don't blow past it anymore.
Fair enough. Oh man. So this was honestly one of the better ones as far as season 2s go. Not to say that season 1 was bad by any stretch of the imagination. This one just seemed a lot more in-depth, wouldn't be the right way to put it, but it seemed a lot more deep. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No? Okay. I was going to say, am I losing you? Now, you did warn me prior to me watching it months ago when I was watching it with my wife. And yeah, I did watch it alone. Not because I wanted to, but for necessity to finish it in time. My wife and I typically like to watch things slower than the podcast would allow.
Yep.
And one of the things that jumped out at me as a holy cow was two holy cow moments. One holy cow was she's smarter than this. And the second holy cow was a twist I never would have anticipated. The she's smarter than this moment came when she actively avoided recognizing Jinshi's status.
And the fact that there was a frog. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, no, yes.
Yeah,
a frog.
There's a frog. There's a frog. Ribbit, baby.
Good-sized frog, too, one might say.
Well, I mean, like Nissan's like, it said decent sized frog, but it was a lot better than decent. I'll tell you that right now.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, the fact that she was like, no, he can't be any kind of important. And then everything that she moved on, like from that point forward, was he's stupidly important. And he's like, I'm going to embrace my my position or my stance. And
Mhm.
she's just like, okay, cool, bro. Cool story.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I don't know about weird, but I'm over here like I'm mildly infuriated. Kind of like she's the one that figured out there was a um, attempt on Jinji's head. Came through, solved it, saved him. Was a huge plot point of season 1, right? And now she's willfully ignorant of the importance of the man. And you do find out that she has more family. One of the things that I was surprised by was her adopted father is her great uncle, I guess. Did you pick that up too or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides the fact that they said it, yeah.
Well, they went further than just saying it a lot of the time, and I'm like, okay, sure, wow, okay. I just never made that connection. I know that she surrounded herself by smart people, and everyone in her life is genius level smart for whatever reason. It was just interesting. So, yeah, it just for
You
it
seems
seems
like
like
you're struggling. I mean, like, are you like?
I'm struggling to put it into words because it seems a lot to me like her family should be more important than it is.
Well, that's the thing, right? So you learned about who her father was in season 1. Like season 1, you learned who the father was. Like there was no getting
Mhm.
around the bush or being around the bush or anything like that. Like you learned who the father was. So you should understand, like in terms of family or anything like that, when it comes to that family, it's very minimal, especially with who her father is. He doesn't see people as people. He sees them as go pieces or chess pieces. And that's what he sees them. He doesn't see them as individuals. He can't tell the faces apart and everything. Like they had this whole thing broken down into season 1, like about him, his
Correct.
personality, how he views it. So expecting it to all of for it to grow beyond that, I think does it a disservice because it's it at
Okay,
that point
so
you'd be wanting them to change after the groundwork was laid. You're like, oh well, they should have more expectations for it. It's like you just like as you learn about the guy, he only cares like about one individual. No one else really cares about the family, and that's the other thing that they really kind of touch on in the series, especially the second season, is there's a lot that's like plays in terms of dynamics for this. And for a lot of people, it's not necessarily about, oh, I want to do everything I can to protect my daughter or anything like that, especially when it comes to higher society. A lot of it is like, I really just don't care. So I'm going to do this because it puts me in a far better position. And this really comes to head when you're like, oh, you have this, and like, and it actively sickens me too, because of how the emperor was, not the current living one, but the one that died. Like it actively makes me sick, infuriated, filled with rage, because it's because you know those people, you know that they put their daughters in that situation.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like, oh, I had no idea this was going on. No, they purposefully, you could tell, you knew that was going on. 100%.
Yeah, it wasn't hidden. It wasn't a secret. It was an illness that they fed. But so what I mean by my question on whether or not my question on what's wrong essentially was the fact that this whole family, you've got her would it be her brother? Adopted brother?
Adopted brother, yeah.
So her adopted brother is a financial genius. Her father is an amazing tactician. Her great uncle is a renowned doctor of sorts, and she is a poison expert. The family is so underutilized and underrecognized. Just based off of that, it would make sense to bring them into nobility of some kind so that you can control them rather than letting them run rampant as they were.
No, it's not that they're underutilized or anything like that. It's they were properly utilized the way that they could. And I say that because take the father, for example, right? You had the whole deal with the, not even the father. We'll go with the uncle or the adoptive father for Maomao, the doctor, right?
Okay.
He was very renowned. He was highly intelligent, very well respected and everything like that. But he was cast out because of, and fill in the blank for whatever reason. We don't know the true details of it. You just know that he was expelled for it. And then they gave you the details finally in season 2. It's like, hey, you can't take anything that happened during that time frame to be legitimate, especially for a lot of the things, because the Empress was actually the one kind of controlling things. And there was a lot of things that happened that just really weren't there. Like they had people that were going through and creating this whole monologue or creating these fictitious crimes or things like that were just being made up for this thing just to appease her or to hide something. And so they were all cast out, or they were made a criminal when they really weren't a criminal. Like her father, like he really wasn't a criminal. He did what he was supposed to do, but because of whatever the Empress wanted or whatever, she's like, I'm casting him out, made up a crime, and then that was it. And take the strategist, the reason why he is so well respected and so high up, and he even says this even during the meeting in the first season. He's like, there's like, I can count the number of people that are above me, and you're on above me, right? And I can count the people that are above me on one hand. So he's high up. The issue is having something gain his interest enough to make it so that way he wants to do it. When he has interest in it, he will do it, but it has to garner his interest for him to really kind of be motivated for it. And so it's like, yeah, you can try and force him to do it, but it's whatever. And it's the same thing when he's at the garden party in the first season. I think it is when they do the blue rose. Or is
yes.
Yeah. You get the idea of how he is in general, because he made this thing up, and he, like, while he's sitting there, he has dirty hands. He grabs the hat off the guy in front of him, wipes his hands off. He doesn't care about anyone. He literally, he does not give a hoot about any of it. So I don't agree with the fact that they underutilized them. They were written in there perfectly, and then they were each given of roles suited perfectly for their personality, suited perfectly for whatever happened to them. Like the guy's a doctor, he's just bad with money. It's like, because before he got expelled from the palace, he literally just had to be there and be a doctor. He didn't have to worry about money, didn't have to worry about this. All he had to do was just like, oh, go treat these people. Didn't have to worry about collecting money, because that wasn't his job. He was a doctor in the rear palace. He was like, my job literally is just to exist and treat the concubines. That is my sole purpose. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat the people within the rear palace. So they answered why he's so bad with money, why he doesn't really care about it, but also at the exact same time, like why he's so in tune with the female body. Aside from the fact that he is a doctor and from the fact that he was sent across the ocean to go get training and educated on Western medicines and things like that. Like they answered a lot of the stuff and they utilized them perfectly for it. And then they answered why certain people were in certain situations the way they were.
That's one way to look at it. I obviously didn't look at it like that. I still technically don't. For no other reason than...
Well, how could you have forced someone to do the things that they don't want to do?
Your royalty.
And?
What do you mean, and?
And? Let me give you this. The strategist does not care that you're royalty. So how can you make him do something that he's not going to do? You expelled a doctor for crimes. A doctor was expelled for crimes. He's no longer in your purview. You don't know really anything about him because he was expelled while you were still a child, if not even younger than that. How are you going to force him to be a doctor for you? How are you going to know about it? The dude literally is bad with money. He just works in a back alley, lives in a little shanky shack.
I didn't really think it was a money issue for him because he doesn't need the money as far as like his own concerns are
right. Far as but he concerned. Lives in a shack and he does need the money to survive. So that's why she forces him to take the money in the first season. When that whole thing, he was about to reject the money for the issue that happened at the one house. And she's like, no, you need the money because you got debts to pay. And he's like, oh, yes, that's right. I do have to do that.
Well, I don't know if you're proving my point or not, because he's not doing it for the money. He's not. It, just like the strategist.
Yeah.
He's not doing it for the position. He's doing it because he enjoys it.
Right.
The brother-in-law with money, he's not doing it because he gets paid well. He does it because he loves it.
No, money never got brought into it. But you're saying that they need to be utilized more and they should have been made higher in station to whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. And they should have been utilized more. It's like, how?
I feel like they should have been brought closer to the breast. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then I can try to clear that up.
No.
They should have been utilized by bringing them in, and the Empress Derringer, or who? No, she was dead at this time. So the Emperor, would the Emperor be the one pulling the strings at this point? Because his mom died?
Yes. The Emperor died. The Emperor died, and he became the next Emperor.
But yeah, the Emperor was being
controlled by his mother, who was also dead at the exact same time. Yeah.
Okay, so there's no strings behind.
Yeah.
So he seems like a competent person, and when he finally does understand that these people are important, he like...
The reason why the one guy is the key strategist for the military is because he recognized the importance in the intellect of the individual. The doctor wasn't utilized at all because he had no knowledge of the doctor, and the doctor was expelled for his crimes. Fictitious crimes.
Fictitious, yes.
Okay.
But you would only really need the strategist on your side because he would also see the value of everybody else. maybe not their face, but definitely their abilities. And for some reason, he's completely absent in the second season, except the latter part when he's like, "My daughter."
Yeah.
And you're like, that's very uncharacteristic, unless you take into account the fact that he was just utterly and completely captivated by his wife.
Yeah.
And so just disregarded everything else, which I guess would make sense.
He wasn't completely oblivious or absent in the first half of it. He was there for let's see here, probably halfway through it, if not even before then.
I must have missed him being there because I only noticed his presence, and this would be a spoiler. I only noticed his presence when Maomao disappeared.
He was there before she disappeared, but after they got back from the hunting trip, because he was interrogating Jinshi Sudo while they were having the drinks, and Ahudo was pretending to be Jinshi at the exact same time. It wasn't when Maomao was gone. He poured out the juice and said, "Oh, this red juice is really vivid, blah, blah, blah," but it was green grape juice. And then he also was really enamored with his wife and wanted to talk about that too.
Talk about the Go game they played. Yeah. Now, I remember, I thought that was closer to when she was
kidnapped.
Maybe it was the middle. Yeah, I thought that was when she was.
That was in the middle. And the reason why I say that is because he left at the same time that she was kidnapped. He wasn't going to still be there.
See, that's the biggest problem I have with 24 episode anime that we review. So much happens or so little happens. And in this one, it's just every episode's jam-packed. Every episode, well, minus one or two, but something important happens in every episode. You can't skip it. Not that I would ever attempt such a thing. In the past.
And CJ also says it's he doesn't need to be there because he got what he wanted in the first season, which was his wife.
I agree that he did get what he wanted, which was his wife, even though he didn't realize she was alive still. But he seemed rather obsessed with his daughter in the latter part of the second half. Now, granted, it was because she was kidnapped, and any good father would do so, but I don't really see him as a good father. And the verbiage he was using leads me to believe he was pulling favors for her in the rear palace. So maybe he was doing stuff behind the scenes. I don't know.
But going back to it, right? You're talking about the utilization of them. Okay.
Yeah, they seem like a very prominent family.
Here's the other thing that's going against you. Maomao is technically not allowed to do anything medically, period. She could get in trouble. In fact, she could get the fact that they are allowing her to is proof that they are just we're going to allow this thing to just be, because it's interesting right now, but they don't, women especially in the real palace, they're not allowed to do anything medical. It's strictly men.
Even though they have an idiot doing that, which again, case in point, bring the other guy back.
But they did. That's the thing.
Yes.
They brought him back because yes, but they can't bring him back because he is a criminal. And while we know that it was fake and fictitious and everything like that, it's you were expelled from the palace. You are a criminal. It doesn't matter how great of a doctor you are. You're a criminal. You're not allowed to be here. It's like that with us. I mean, even in society, if you do something you're not allowed to do, it doesn't matter if your heart was in the right place, or even if it was by accident or wrong. Guess what? It don't matter. You are a criminal.
Right, they're not very forgiving times. I do admit that. I don't know. Like, all right, let me broach the question with you then. Let's say you had a criminal that you knew of
I do
that
know a
excelled
criminal.
in their field, and you're an emperor,
Okay.
and you know of a criminal who excels in their field, right? And you've got their family.
Here's the
working very
assumption. You're
closely with you.
assuming he knows the doctor is still there. You're assuming that he knows about the doctor.
I am assuming that because Jinshi knows it.
Jinshi only knew about it because of Maomao. Not necessarily that is not necessarily being communicated directly up the stream, nor is he going to bring him back in, because she was fired because she was loosely related to him in the first season. So my question to you is, why would you go, well, in the first season, she literally was fired because she was related to him. And then she wasn't allowed in the rear palace again because of that, because she was fired because of this. So we're going to cover it up and have her come in, but she's not really going to be here doing that. And the only reason why she's allowed back in the rear palace is because of extenuating circumstances. And she is only being allowed by the graces of the emperor, not necessarily because of any other reason.
So all the more reason to look into who she is, what she is, where she is, and why she is.
Right. So if you have teams of doctors and doctors that you yourself feel is competent enough for it, why are you going to venture out and look elsewhere? Because in your mind, you don't care. It's like, I got my doctors. I got my baby. She's taken care of. She's alive. I got these people over here. Blah, 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 blah. All this is taken care of.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
You're looking at it from like a singular perspective, right?
Of course, that's the only perspective I have.
Okay. You need to go, hey, bro, I got 4 high-ranking concubines, like maybe 50 mid-ranking concubines. I got hundreds of doctors that are literally at my disposal at any point in time. I have teams of individuals that are taking care of everything for me at any point in time. Why am I going to go out of my way to find this one doctor just because of whatever reason, blah, 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 because of this? My 4 high-ranking concubines aren't saying anything about it. I'm not in a medical emergency for any of these things that can't be taken care of by the doctors that are actively being there.
I was under the impression there was one doctor for the rear palace, and then
but the mid-ranking concubines, they
have doctors as well.
Yeah, they have an entire like team of individuals. It's not just one guy. Like even when Maomao was walking around there, you have a whole bunch of other people that are there for the doctors, for the military, and everything else. So it's not like they're the only ones. And plus, doctors are now forcefully castrated to be a doctor, to be allowed to go in there.
Yeah. Now, I see where there's a problem there, but I also see where there's a solution, because somebody's already castrated. That being said,
but he was expelled as a criminal.
Yes, he was expelled. Yes, he was. Now, here's where I would argue that it seems a bit iffy. You have not catastrophe, but you have problem after problem after problem being solved by one person. And all 4 concubines are singing this chick's praises.
Nope.
You'd want to know where you don't think they are?
All 4 of them are most assuredly not. You have 2 of them that would be, but the other 2 wouldn't be.
Which 2?
Shishi and then the other younger girls. She wouldn't be singing her praises because she hasn't really done anything to force her to sing her praises. Not only that, she is really young, and the emperor doesn't do anything with her because of how young she is. So he has no interest in her. She is there purely for whatever reason. The other one, she has had like maybe 2 interactions with, and that's it. And the emperor, whenever he goes to see her in the second season, it's even stated he doesn't know what to think about her. He only really visited her because of who her father is, and he's confused about what's going on because every time he sees her, she's in a completely different outfit. Like that is very ornate and decorative and everything like that. He's like, I have no idea what the hell's going on. And that's where he stands with that. And so he moves on.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking that CJ says you're looking at it with blinders on. You're not wrong, because I'm trying to make my view make sense.
Look, CJ also brings up, he's like, you're acting like Jinshi is gabbing to the emperor about Maomao. He's not. Secondly, you only know 4 concubines. There are a lot. So other concubines are gonna sing praises about their doctor too.
Okay.
I mean, like literally, that's why there's so many there, and that's why you hear about all these concubines. It's like in the second season, you learn about how you learn that there are so many others, and it's like this one person got upset because this one concubine is being visited by the emperor, and she's not even a high-ranking concubine.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't when you initially started the conversation, but she could have been after. Damn. Okay. So yeah, I really don't have a good leg to stand on as much as I want to, because I want to say that the emperor would have people reporting to him of all the ongoing stuff, and he'd be smart enough to realize that this family's connected and there's something special about this family in particular, because everyone associated with him is not only above the norm in intelligence, but they're also above the norm in wisdom and crazy, because every one of them has something wrong with them. One guy doesn't care about money. One guy only cares about his wife. His wife is crippled, for lack of a better way to put it. His son, adopted son or otherwise, is obsessed with money and money-making ideas, and his daughter is obsessed with poison. And they're all smart enough to be a major asset that they're not using. But again, you can only use an asset if you recognize it, if you see it there.
Here's the other thing. You're also going at this like, they're not utilizing it. They should totally do this. Like, and so I'm going to go back to my original question that I asked you before. How? Like, you're saying they're being underutilized. How would you have them utilized then? You're just saying they're being underutilized. How?
One, I would swap the quack doctor that doesn't really know anything with the felon that does.
He is at the end. So that doesn't make sense, because and again, you can't go at that one like that, because when you do get that resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So that's you can't have that one, because it took a while for them to basically clear the air in regards to him and his past, or at least put him in the light to where he could be brought back in and shown his worth.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So yeah, they eventually do that part. I do agree with that. But going to Maomao, I feel like she's just basically being left to her own devices. Granted, I think that we're eventually going to get if we ever get any more, a season 3, so to speak, I know I'm messing with you.
No. I am asking. You're saying what you feel
How
they
they're not
did.
being-
I'm not asking what you feel they did. Tell me how you feel they could be better utilized, right? So the one is like, oh, bring him in, have him be a doctor. They did that at the end, so that's kind of a moot point on that one.
Okay. Well, I guess it'd be a moot point for most of them because they are utilizing them at the end. Well, except for Maomao. Maomao is still obsessed with poison. You'd probably utilize her by marrying her. You'd utilize the kid, the brother, by placing him in charge of larger finances. You utilize the strategist.
Well, we don't know how he's being utilized as a whole in there. You also have to take into consideration that you can recognize the intelligence, you can't just give it to them. They have to earn their way and make their way there. The strategist wasn't just thrown into that position. He had to prove himself first by moving up. So they are proving themselves. They proved themselves already to Jinshi, at least in that regard, at least his son, and they were able to do this. So they're utilizing them in ways, but the anime is not about them.
No, I would say that utilizing them the best way possible would be forcing them or marrying them into the family. That's probably my easiest answer to your question.
What would their political gain be from them marrying them in the family?
The intelligence and assets that they naturally have.
They already have that. They don't need to marry them in the family.
At the very least, Momo's treated like a slave for majority of the show.
She is a slave. She is a slave. What do you they literally said that multiple times. She is of low birth. She was brought in there as a slave. So yes, she understands. She has also routinely said, I understand my position.
It would be like using a natural born quarterback as a wide receiver, as when I say underutilizing, they're not playing towards their strengths. They're minorly doing what they can to work with what they have. But they've got people in the wrong position. How they'd put them there, I don't know. That's
okay.
Beyond my capacity.
So you're saying the strategist shouldn't be a strategist? The strategist should be something else?
I'm saying the strategist should have a little bit more say on military matters, and
he has say on the military matters.
I said more.
He has the say on the military matters. The ones that there are very few people that are above him, but he can't do anything without the go ahead from the superior officers. Just like in any military environment, you can't have a colonel go and making these large, wide sweeping calls. You have bosses above them, even though they may be super intelligent, crazy smart, and everything like that. There's still an order of things because of a lot of potentially political ramifications, lives, everything. So he is in charge of the strategy for the royal army for everything like that. So he has basically the say on how to do it. He just needs to make sure before he does the strategy, before something goes in, he has to go to his general, his boss, his 5-star, and say, hey, bro, this is what I want to do. I need you to sign off on it. All right, cool. Do it.
So maybe he's being utilized appropriately. I was wrong. As far as his brother goes, I was curious about his brother, so I read up on him, which I don't think I really can use for this discussion as the anime.
His brother?
Sorry, not her brother, her adopted brother.
Okay.
He's financially smart, and he
Right.
runs several businesses, which would probably be better incorporated. So then why bring it up?
Yeah.
Because they all excel, and they're all outside the grasp. It'd be like going to a contractor when you can hire them directly, a consorting fee, rather than hiring them directly, having them more closely bound to you.
Right.
I can't use this for the argument. Continues to bring it up. I know, because that was my reasoning for even the thought on it. As far as Maomao is concerned, she's continuously proven herself to be smart, but continually proven, she's proven, or not proven, she's continually disregarded as not intelligent for most of the people that she's helped, except for Jinshi, except for the people in power.
Okay,
but
so
the people she
hang on,
answers to directly to has been overlooked.
I'm sorry, say that again. The people, so you're saying like, oh, she's recognized, but everyone treats her like she's an idiot because
No. It'd be like if the boss of the company understood that you're good at what you do, but your direct supervisor is ignoring it.
Her direct supervisor is Jinshi.
I thought her direct supervisor was the high concubine.
No, the high concubine is basically there to utilize Maomao, but her direct supervisor is Jinshi. Jinshi is loaning her to the high-ranking concubine to test for poison, so that way she doesn't die while she's pregnant.
Yeah, I thought she was just a poison tester under the concubine.
Yeah, which is what she's being loaned to the concubine for. That's why you have the entire shtick of, I am coming here to have her returned to me because I'm going to use her for this. And she's like, returned? Returned who? Like, she is mine. You are borrowing her. That's why you literally had 2 episodes of that.
Okay. Well, then it was my misunderstanding of the whole situation then. Because I thought they were fighting over her because they both wanted her.
No.
And
they do want her. They both do want her. But the biggest part of the fight wasn't necessarily the fact that they both wanted her. It was the concubine wanting Jinshi to actually say Maomao's name because he wasn't the first time. She's like, who are you talking about? That girl? You keep saying that girl. Who is that girl? Who is this? Who do you mean return? Return who? And the first time. The second time, when they start doing it again, he goes over there, touches her head, and says, Maomao.
Okay.
I know you're CJ Googling stuff right now to try and...
I'm trying to respond to CJ. He says that, did you Spark Notes this? Like, no, I was going to type in no, because if I did, I'd be far more prepared than I was, for no other reason than the high points, the highlights would actually be there, because I missed that completely. I saw them fighting over her, but I thought it was for her direct employment, not that they were splitting her.
Yeah, Jinshi was lending her out. Yeah, he put her on loan. She's on loan.
I thought that he was specifically not naming her to try to tamp down his personal feelings for her. I thought that
everyone knows that everyone knows that Jinshi has a thing for her, that he likes her. And that's why they were giving him a hard time, is because he wasn't saying her name. But he is her direct supervisor. He is the one that is directly over her. She is directly employed by him. She is
Then
on
how come
loan to the concubine to test for poison because she is pregnant. The concubine is pregnant.
So how come, if that's the case, how come every time she's doing her investigations, she's essentially getting blocked by the other concubines?
She's not
Even
being,
granted,
she's not being blocked by the other concubines when she's trying to do her investigations. First of all, she's employed directly for the one concubine, and just because she is employed by Jinshi doesn't mean she has free reign. Secondly, when she goes to like the jewel pavilion or whatever it is for the blue concubine, it's not being blocked by the concubine. She's being blocked by the head lady in waiting, who, may I remind you, was actively trying to kill the concubine and actively cause her to have a miscarriage and actively cause her to not be able to have children. So she wasn't being blocked by the concubine. She was being blocked by the ladies in waiting. And it's the same thing for the other concubines, where they are just basically utilizing the poor girl for their own ends, to the means, for whatever it is they want.
So CJ says Maomao is the weird anomaly that kind of makes them okay with each other because they generally like her. But yeah, ladies in waiting hate Maomao.
Yeah. They're not her bosses. She doesn't even work. She doesn't report to them. They don't even like the doctor when he was walking in there, and they didn't want to. And the only reason why they even let the doctor walk into the pavilion, or the blue pavilion, right, is because he has a letter from Jinshi, who does have an actual say on it. And that's the only reason why. So it's not that they are blocking her even. They just in general don't like a lot of people for a lot of reasons.
I guess my question with that is if they all know that she works for Jinshi and not another concubine, why wouldn't they be more forthcoming or helpful? Whereas they're
because
very
they
helpful
don't
when they
like
have a signed
her
thing.
They don't like her. They only like Jinshi. They don't give a hoot about her. They don't. The doctor could be there, and they're still looking at the doctor with complete disregard, even though the doctor maybe have been sent there by Jinshi. It doesn't matter. Even when she was first hired in the first season by Jinshi, the other girls that went there to go look at her, they were like, why you get special treatment? Why are you this? Why that? And they talked trash to her and they slapped her and everything like that. They don't care about her. Like, she is not Jinshi. They don't give a who about her. And again, they hate her. So her going there for whatever reason doesn't mean that they're going to be all for it, especially if they are trying to get away with stuff. Why would you want someone that just causes trouble? Even in the first season, this was shown because she was sent to the first pavilion by Jinshi. And they still said, no, get out of here. When she was trying to save the concubine. And only reason why she was even allowed in there, why she was able to start treating him, is because Jinshi then showed up. And that's the only reason why. And again, but that's in the first season. So, and that just continues on into the second season. And that was before she was employed by Jinshi.
I guess that makes a weird kind of sense when you put it like that.
CJ says, let me ask you a question. If you are liked and favored by your boss, the boss of everyone else, would they love you and give you everything you want? No, they would hate you and resent you.
No, I mean, I get that too. No one likes a teacher's pet, but it's not, I didn't look at it as a resentment towards her because they were jealous of her. I looked at it as an extension of Jinshi. Like, I don't like HR, but if HR comes to me with my boss's words, then I don't really have a choice. Like, I'm not going to try to block what they're trying to do regardless. If there's an inquiry, then I'm forced to help. Like, I don't really have a choice in that matter, whether I'm guilty or otherwise. Maybe I'm just ignorant of the fact of how things typically go in.
Well, you're bringing up an
corporations.
HR type of thing, and
Well, that's who she essentially is, isn't she?
no, she's not. She's not human resources. She is not HR. She is a servant. She is of low birth.
Okay. I mean, I get that part, but she's been sent and she solved many issues within the pavilion.
I'm sorry. I don't like you. I don't like the fact that you're trying to come in here and disrupt stuff. I don't like the fact that you're probably going to come in here and sniff out the fact that I'm trying to kill someone. But you know what? Because you're sending here by the boss, here, let me show you all these things over here that I'm doing. By the way, I've been embezzling money. By the way, I've been over here doing this. By the way, I've been over here doing that. By all means, please let me not resent you and hate you. Let me invite you in and show you all the bad, naughty things that I'm doing, so that way you can figure it out and then go back to Jinshi and tell him, so that way I can get in trouble for this. By all means, please come in. Come in. Come in.
Well,
that's your problem. They're not doing that. Your problem is like they're not going, hey, bro, I'm sorry. I'm trying to cause the blue concubine here to have a total miscarriage and have a shriveled womb, in, to quote her, right?
You have to quote her.
Right. Right. By all means. And then you're like, why aren't they letting her in to go in there and do an investigation? Gee, I wonder why the person actively trying to murder her own concubine, the person that she is in charge of, I wonder why she doesn't want Maomao to come in there and figure it out. Enlighten me, Rick. Tell me why they should allow them to come in there and find out that they're doing naughty things, why they should welcome them with open arms.
Oh, you make a good point, but I can only use my own personal experience with it.
Yeah.
And I'm typically innocent of most things.
Yeah. So
why are we still talking about this? Doing sus stuff.
Yeah.
Why would they help the detective? Oh, wait, that's what Jack is saying. No, you can't. No, I can't. Because I'm typically the innocent party and I'm oblivious to most things.
Yeah.
Well, most illegal or improper things.
Yeah. Stop putting your own experience into it. Yeah.
How else can I relate?
You're look. You're again. This is kind of the problem, man. That I have with you sometimes, man. I love you to death, but Jesus Christ, you're like, bro. Why aren't they? Why are? It's like, bro. You see someone committing a murder. They're trying to actively hide the body, and you're like, why aren't they letting the police come in there and find the body? What's going on? It's like,
CJ, I apologize. I'm not trying to make you crash out. I just genuinely.
You're actively
it's
wondering why you're.
Yeah,
what you're saying is. Like, I get it. You're like, oh, I'm on the side of Maomao. They should just welcome her with open arms everywhere she goes because she's great. It's not the case. She's the teacher's pet. She's going in there. She's going to dig dirt up, and she's going to get you in trouble for the naughty stuff you're doing.
I mean, I get that, but from where I was standing maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago, let's use that as an example. Teacher's pet. I'm having a problem, and the teacher's pet comes over under the teacher's orders and helps me fix said problem. I see nothing but appreciation for that.
From the teacher. Yes, you do.
Well, the teacher's pet said, well, okay, so what you're saying is the teacher's pet helped me, and I'm thankful to the teacher for sending the teacher's pet over, not to the teacher's pet for helping me.
Look. All the people that are stopping Maomao from doing anything, okay, out of all those people, how many of them did she help?
Of the people stopping her?
Yes.
Well, when you put it like that, it's a real low number, probably 0, because they were all doing some shady shit.
Okay. So when she goes missing, when she gets kidnapped, they plainly state
you're both jerks.
That is a very long list of people of who hate Maomao. That is a very long list. And they even flashback through sequence of all the people that hate her. It's not 1 or 2. It's a lot of people. A lot of people.
Oh, you both suck. You and CJ, because we probably spent about 20 minutes on this.
Oh, probably closer to 30 minutes on this.
It's like a light bulb clicked on and it illuminates the subject. I can't defend it at all. Oh, gee. Oh, good Lord. And CJ comes out with the 50s vernacular. Golly gee whiz. Uh-huh.
Yep. So, I'll tell you this. We do get a lot of answers in season 2. And we learn about the Princess Frog in season 2.
Good Lord, yes.
And
how it's average, and then above average, and then greater than average, and then
you know, that the entirety of season 2, even though, Toads aside and teacher's pets aside and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. We do get a lot of answers in season 2, which I'm really happy for. We learn about who the 4th concubine that gets entered into the mix is. We learn about the emperor and the fact that he is a horrible individual that I would have been happily going. I would be happily going to jail just to murder that guy. 100%. He is trash beyond belief. And you learn why, because they make references in the first season, they make more references in the second season. And then when they talk about the color and the eye color and how the one guy's not able to see color, the one general's not able to see color, they have everything kind of really tying into each other, kind of just bringing it all full circle.
Yeah, the story was very convoluted and spiderwebs to a crazy degree. But yeah, they do conclude everything, and they keep tying stuff in, doing callbacks that are really, really good. And for simpletons like myself, it's nice that when they do make those connections, they re-explain why the connection's important. So that was nice too.
It was. It was nice. And I really I am glad we got kind of an insight to the old lady, the old hag for the Vettigre house or whatever it is that Maomao's in. How you get the backhand for that, you get the details for her and her life and everything, and how it all ties into the Emperor still, and that you actually how they tie it into modern day stuff, and they same thing for optical illusions, or not optical illusions, but the drawings where you can see them 2 different ways, the duck and the bird.
Yep. Yes.
I'm glad that they touched on that, because it's not every day you get to see them do simplistic explanations for things that could potentially be complicated, is what I'm trying to say. Not just the duck bird thing, but in general for a lot of it, because they expelled the white powder in the first season, but they didn't tell you exactly why until the second season. And they're like, well, it's because it's lead. There's lead in it.
Well, they did a good job because they realized the fan base was like me. That being said, I do agree. The way that they brought things about, the way that they were able to do complex storylines as well as keeping everything interesting. Because you can do a very complicated story and make it super duper boring. But the way that this is done, it keeps you watching. It's very entertaining. You don't want to watch the Spark Notes, so to speak. Or talk about things that don't exist. But what I felt was most gratifying, specifically regarding the lady, I'm going to call her the evil lady because I can't pronounce that last name. I loved the solution that they came up with, where in my mind, it was a happy ending. For her, she was horrified that one minor misconception led her down a very hateful life, a very disappointing and miserable life. Does that make sense?
Who?
I can explain. The lady,
You're talking about the general's wife?
Name. Yeah, the general. I can't say the last name. I can't remember it. It starts with a V, but I just... She? I thought you said V. Oh, you said she, not V. My bad. So, yeah, so she realized that the general wanted her, bartered for her, worked his butt off for her, even betrayed everyone for her. And she didn't see it that way. And because she misconstrued the entire situation, she has lived a horrible life because of it. And she had, in my mind, a glorious death of... when she died, she was regretful. I think
100%. Yeah, 100%. 100%. There are just some characters in here that you for sure get that gratifying moment where you just know that they're no longer there and they're just going to be executed, gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes.
I just loved the fact that she was so vindictive enough to, and again, super duper spoilers, take a gun from her daughter, fire it at her daughter, and her daughter was like, well, that must hurt, because the gun backfired and threw shrapnel all in her face.
Yep.
That was super satisfying for me.
Yep. Also,
that
you get
that made me feel good.
Yeah. You also, in this one, you get, because in season 1, Suyi, she just disappears completely at the end of the season 1. You're like, oh, will she ever come back? Will we ever get like answers? Oh yeah, no, she comes back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's a main character.
Yeah. You get more knowledge of her. You get more knowledge of Lauren, whatever. General's daughter. You get the deal with her, and then you learn about her and her life growing up, and then you learn that and it really plays a big part. And I want to say this, what happens in season 1, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. What happens in season 1 repeats itself in season 2 in a way that at first, unless you're like actively looking for it, it's really kind of like, Like, oh,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. A freaking gut punch.
oh, like, yeah, 100%. 100%. And
Yeah.
so it makes a complete circle, but also you learn like that it's not all sunshine and roses, like that even then things are not perfected. Even then things are still a work in progress. That there's still a lot of things that are trying to be worked out um for it. And your overall outlook, depending on the situation, really just kind of really dictates your overall outlook and your better mentality. So take Maomao when she gets kidnapped in the second season. By and large, she's pretty much whatever about the whole thing. As long as she gets to learn and read and everything like that, she really doesn't care. As long as she gets to go and investigate and do whatever, she's content mostly, but she gets herself into trouble anyways. And it's also hilarious because Lorian, what was the name again? Gosh darn it. For the daughter, the general's daughter.
Which one?
Not
Lulan.
Sui. Lulan.
I think so.
You. Yeah. She gets Lulan. She gets Maomao like a lesser punishment, but in everyone's mind, it's a worse punishment. Like, oh, I'm gonna don't throw her in the water pit. Throw her in the room with all the poisonous insects and the poisonous snakes and things like that. Like, do that by all means. And then Maomao's response is like, "Oh, look, you gave me a nice snack. Thank you. I was hungry anyways."
Yeah, like it was a vacation for her.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see. Yes, it was
Lulan.
Yeah, Lulan. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
But I think she has another identity.
Yeah,
Shisui?
Yeah, Shisui and Lulan, but I didn't want to say Shisui because it's close to Suryi and it just confuses me even more.
Fair enough. Yeah, there was a lot of, I'm really bad with names.
Yes.
So what I end up doing is I'm like, that main character, the one who did this, I'll describe them rather than try to name them.
Yeah.
I only remember that name because it was like brought up so many times.
Yeah, she was a very prevalent character. She was, very largely a focal point in the second season, especially in the second half.
What I did appreciate about this anime was the fact that not just the good guys were smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was intelligence around every corner. Whether it was utilized or not was a completely different story, or how it was utilized was a completely different story. But it was, everyone had their own little nuggets of genuine knowledge. For instance, Lulan's family figured out how to make guns better. What would they call them? Fawa? Faga?
Huh?
The gun. What'd they call the gun?
Oh, yeah. Just call it the gun.
Okay. CJ just said something I was going to mention as well, but I agree with you on this one. CJ says, you know what else I liked? The dead girl who came back to life was suffering issues from dying. Basically, the resurrection medicine from season 1, as you mentioned, isn't perfect.
Yeah.
And there were some, I would imagine, neurological issues. We didn't really get into it as far as what exactly her ailments were, because
Yeah, they
From
did.
what I could see, the
the
alien
ailments
only
were
happened
the
one
partial
time.
paralysis of her leg.
Oh, I thought it was her arm because her arm dropped down, and
Well,
then all of a
that too,
sudden
but
she could
the
use it
left
again.
side of her was partial paralysis.
Oh,
That's why she was walking around like that.
I know they talked about it, but I thought that was like another misdirection.
No.
But yeah, no, they did. It was something to do with it being too strong. CJ, of course. He's clarifying. She didn't mix it right, and she was dead too long, technically. Makes sense.
Yeah, again, not
The
perfected.
neurological side. Yeah, not perfected, not correct.
Yeah. They go into greater details for it, especially in the
latter parts.
Yeah, the last like 3 episodes, they go into more details.
Yeah, no, it was well done. A lot of the questions were answered, and a lot of the new information didn't leave further questions. So if they never made a season 3, which they are, I would have been satisfied. A lot of the typical next time on or wait till we see next seasons did not happen, which made me unbelievably happy. What else? I can't think of anymore else. Anything else, I should say. I had like 3 or 4 extra points I wanted to make, but yeah, there was a bunch of smart people that didn't hide it. There was a bunch of smart people that did hide it. They brought in the Western civilization, and I thought that was quite odd that they would just add an extra potential concubine that failed horribly. It was hilarious. But they didn't really go past that. We did see that they were allying themselves with the general, but beyond that, they were kind of like nothing characters. I don't feel like they gave any real added anything to the story. What about you?
The main characters added everything to the story because they were the main characters. All the other side characters that were kind of irrelevant of the matter, they added what they needed to for the story, and then they were dropped like a sack of potatoes, as they should be. I don't need to dwell on why certain characters are certain ways or anything like that, but they did string in and sprinkle around some like jokes and some other little tidbits in there, like the cat that they find at the beginning that is also named Maomao. And then they also joke around going back to when Jinshi the first time was arguing with the concubine, saying he wanted Maomao returned to him. Like Gushwin, he's like, oh, I call her Zhao Mao, and she's like, what, Jinshi, you don't have a cute little nickname for her? Meow meow.
Meow meow. Do you think they're going to do something similar that they did this with the second season, with the third, where a character that wasn't really relevant, I mean, it was relevant, but it was more of a mystery than anything else, disappeared completely and then becomes fairly important in season 2, whereas in season 2, I would say the 2 blonde Westerners were not nearly as relevant as they could have been, but they may have a larger part to play in season 3.
Yeah,
that'd be my best guess.
I would say so, because they were the ones that gave the gun.
At the very least, they gave the blueprints. Yes.
No, they gave the guns, like the box, because you see, like after the whole thing, after they don't get to seduce the emperor or whatever, and they are one of them sitting there and they look dead on at the box that has the guns in it that are then used in the assassination attempt.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I thought they were manufactured there. I didn't think they were delivered. Because the ones that were the ones they used, I thought were using flint, not the it's not a candle wick. I thought they were using flint to spark it off, to spark the ignition rather than, is it a wick?
It's not a wick.
I'm just going to call it a wick.
It's not a wick.
What
they
is
don't
it
light
called?
it. They don't light it.
No, but the Westerners do, like muskets.
No, that's the thing. They were firing them too fast for it. They don't light it. The whole thing with the new guns.
They don't. They improved the design. That's why it's no longer needed for. That's why when they were, when the queen, no, was it the queen? No, when Lulan had the gun up, they're like, it's not lit. It's not the problem. And then,
they point out it's not lit because they didn't realize that it could be shot without it being lit. And then after they get it, they fire it without it being lit. And they're like, oh, the metal is striking it and causing a spark. They didn't have exactly a name for it, but that would be a flint.
No, yes, you are correct. What I'm saying is they were familiar with the guns, but they didn't have the flint option before. They had but what's that thing they called? What would you light?
But they didn't like what is the purpose of this? Like what is the importance of knowing what that is? So like what is the importance of it?
When the Westerners gave the gun, they had the thing that lit. They didn't have
the Westerners gave the guns that you didn't have to light the thing on it. It was the free shooting. It's the one with the flint.
Hold on. Okay, so I have a question then, because now I'm a little bit confused.
Shocking.
Why would they give the blueprints of the upgraded Fenwa, whatever? Why would they give the upgraded blueprint and be like, look, we improved it, if it was already improved when they got it?
No, it wasn't. That wasn't already improved when they got it. They gave the guns to the assassins, and the assassins used that new gun to try and assassinate the prince. And it's why the general invited the prince out on that hunt, so that way he could have him assassinated.
Yes, I'm following you on that. Yes, I understand that. What I'm saying is, why
were they supplying new weapons to an insurrection, to people trying to overthrow the government? No? Okay, that's not your question. Then what is your question?
Nope. My question was, do you think they'd be familiar with the gun that would need to be lit?
Yes. That's why they
What's
were
that thing called?
Does it matter? Like, what is like? I'm going to go back to my original. What is the importance and purpose of knowing what that is called in the greater scheme of the anime, when that doesn't play a focal point of it, other than the fact that they say that you don't have to light it to fire it?
So I am focusing on that. You are right. I guess my greater question would be, do you think they would have knowledge of firearms prior to this upgraded version?
To which I already had answered yes. They had said that the new gun that was used in the assassination attempt was an upgraded version of the guns, and it was smaller because they weren't small like that before.
Okay.
So what is the question? I don't understand. Like I already answered
My
it.
question, yes, you probably answered it twice, and I'm just not listening. So the Westerners gave them the upgraded guns, but they had guns prior to that, right?
Yes.
All right, that was my misunderstanding, because I was under the impression that they gave them the guns that needed to be lit, but they were able to upgrade it, which is why the blueprint was important, which is why the manufacturing in the castle was there.
Manufacturing of the castle was there to manufacture gunpowder to help supply a rebellion against the emperor.
I understand that part. That wasn't my. It was only if the gun was upgraded there or if it was upgraded in the Western world.
Does it matter?
For season 3, it probably would, because it'll mean whether or not they have advanced weaponry.
You mean the advanced weaponry that is already there, that they already discerned in season 2, that the Empire now has their hands on? Are you talking about that whole thing? That
I'm saying that if the Westerners did not have the upgraded weapon,
the Westerners gave the upgraded weapon.
Okay, so they gave the upgraded weapon and the blueprint to make it.
So you saw the Westerners after the whole dancing scene with Jinshi. Westerners are depicted with blonde hair, red dress.
Correct, yes.
Sitting in a room, solitary room. One of said individuals, one goes, well, this didn't work out. Eyes, turn, focus, lock on a wooden box that housed new guns in. That same box was utilized by the assassins to attempt the life, all right, to take the life of Jinshi.
Correct,
so you're going, the Westerners who had that box, that gave the box to the general to give to his assassins. You're wondering if the Westerners had that weapon first? The ones that they gave to the general?
Here or not.
I feel like you're just screwing with me and just wanting to get a rise, and you purposefully are just...
No, not this time. This time it was a genuine question, and it feels like you are...
Like
taking the cake to say...
I don't understand. Like, no, he is asking if they gave them one box, but then they give the blueprints and build more. But to be honest, doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter, because even if they didn't give the blueprints, they could figure it out from one of the guns that they probably took with them anyways, because they didn't take all the guns.
Probably.
You could just, exactly. Like I just said, they just would have reversed engineered it, which is exactly what the Empire did. The Empire reverse engineered the one they were able to confiscate.
True enough. True enough. I'll have to rewatch it, because this is annoying the crap out of me now. I believe that it doesn't matter. But...
I mean... if you're going to rewatch it, you should just rewatch both seasons back to back.
Even in episode 7, they're saying that he doesn't need a match. So I feel like it's before 20 or 47.
I made Jack laugh, and then he sighed. Yeah. All right. honestly, we could continue to really keep going on this at this point, but I genuinely, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, is there anything else you would like to say, sir, on this before we wrap up?
Not particularly, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
Nothing that would be of value.
Okay. Oh my! All right, man. So, on a scale of up to 10, how would you rate this?
Before our conversation, it was going to be a 9. No, realistically speaking, I did like it. As much as I want to say that it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, it was better. I liked all the resolutions that were made. I liked everything that had to do with the intelligence. I had very little issues that weren't mitigated by our conversation for some reason, because I was just not seeing it with the eyes of villains, I guess. So, because I'm innocent, damn it.
It's not an open ending. It's a choose your own venture. It's a choose your ending. It's not an open ending.
Here's the thing. I really want to score it well, but I've got a real bad taste in my mouth for some of the material that they covered.
Yeah. Meant to. That's why you got the satisfying end of them not being alive anymore.
Yeah, but
doesn't feel great that they were alive to begin with, but unfortunately, them's the breaks, man. Like, that's a reality even in this world today.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But for me to give an anime a 9 or a 10, it's got to make me feel good. I don't see that happening here, because my feelings on the matter don't match a 9.
Right.
I can't give it lower than a 7 because it was really good. Like, it was really good. It's not something I'd recommend to everyone, because if it made me uncomfortable, I guarantee a few people would be like, dude, why did you even try? What was the point? Why would you do that to me? You know, I have issues with that. So I'm going to sit in the middle and say an 8.
Okay. For me, I'm going to give it a 9. It was good. By far, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. It definitely gave a lot of resolutions. It gave a lot of the answers, especially from season 1. Not particularly wild with how it ended, but I know with how it ended, it definitely left it open for a season 3. And with the fact that there is a season 3 coming out, kind of brings it all together. So that's why I'm giving it a 9. Next week, we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch Sentenced to be a Hero, which is a recommendation by Major Montana. Thank you, Major Montana. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. If you feel like we did too much justice and not enough justice or anything like that, feel free to contact us and let us know. All our contact information is in the show notes, as well as on our website at featuredanimepodcast.com. You can also join us on Discord and talk to us and hang out with us in there. And then, of course, on stream as well, where we stream majority of our episodes on twitch.tv/featuredanimepodcast. And then, of course, we have some affiliate links for you as well for Crunchyroll. Get yourself a nice free trial or get a discount off their store. Links for you are in the show notes for that. And then let's not forget about Tokyo Treats. Nice, wonderful, delicious treats every single month coming straight to you. If you use our affiliate link along with coupon code featured anime, you get $5 off that very first box. And trust me, the treats are worth it. And of course, let's not forget one of the best ways you can support us is by going to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. If you go there, $1 a month to get you access to bonus content that we usually post with every episode. And of course, don't forget about some Swinky swag, shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.